Okay, so today's video is actually inspired by a recent build that I just did. So I had a computer that was selling, believe it or not, $200, especially when I tell you the specs. It was an i7 4th gen, a GTX 970, 256 solid state hard drive, and a plain Jane case. Well, I got a message from the potential customer, and they asked me, hey, what are the specs? I told them, hey, read the ad, but I gave them the specs, whatever. And they asked me a question that just kind of blew my mind. The typical question I get when I sell a computer, especially the one that cheap, is, does it play Fortnite? Does it play PUBG and all those other games? No, they didn't ask me that question. What they asked me, does it have, and I quote, does it have the fancy blinky colors that gaming computers had? I sat back for a little bit, I laughed, I was perplexed, and I responded no. For the price I was selling it, I didn't put no RGB or anything like that. There's no thing inside the case. Well, the next question they asked me was, well, I wasn't concerned about the case, I was concerned about the color blinky gaming keyboard that most people buy. And I was perplexed again. I said, no, it's a typical, Dell HP keyboard that I've just had in bulk. Long story short, they didn't buy the computer. Yep, they didn't buy the computer. Well, another customer came, looked at the computer, they bought it, and they have a good computer. Why did I sell a computer so cheap for $200? Well, first thing is these were parts that I just had lying around. I didn't pay anything for it, and I just needed to sell them quick just to make some quick, easy money. So yes, I sold an i7 4th gen, 16 gigs of RAM, 256 SSD, and a GTX 970 for $200. So, but back into the topic of today's discussion. So, I was really perplexed about the fact that somebody turned down a good computer for that price for the fact that it didn't have a blingy, colorful keyboard, or however they said it. And I was like, okay, so maybe that will help sell and push my computers that I'm trying to sell. So the other day I was browsing around the store, went to our local store in my area, it's called Rose's. And while looking around, I found this BYTECH gaming keyboard with multicolor backlight. Okay, don't tell me much. And what I pay for it, will I get it in there? Focus. $10.99. $10.99 for a gaming keyboard backlit. So apparently RGB and lighting, well, it's not apparently, it's always been there, but that will make or break a sale, obviously. So this kind of brings me into my next topic, and my next series I'm going to be doing is cheap budget RGB gaming and all that stuff. So I bought this keyboard for $11, and is it $11 or is it actually something decent? First thing I'm going to tell you right now, this thing is as light as a feather. I haven't even opened it. As you can see, the seal's right there. And this thing is this thing weighs nothing. So let's take a look at the specs. Responsive for ultimate productivity and efficiency, USB, 104, waterproof, height, depth, all that stuff. Okay, compatible with Windows 10. That's the biggest thing I guess we're going to look for. So I haven't opened it. Let's open it up. Let's see what it looks like. And let's see, did I pay $10, $11 for crap? Or is this actually pretty good for that price? And the reason why I bought this is that since people are very concerned and interested in RGB keyboards, or RGB for that matter, that would probably help boost selling a computer. But if you really get into RGB, it's going to cost you some money, and it's not really cost efficient if you're trying to build a computer best bang for the buck. I mean, that computer, if I would have put some RGB in there, maybe I would have sold it for $300, but I don't know. It just kind of takes away, and then you got to do the wiring, and it just becomes a headache. So I typically don't use RGB unless I have it lying around or unless the customer specifically requests it. What is RGB? For those of you who don't know, I'm going to give you the layman's term of it. RGB is pretty colors that make your computer look pretty. That's all it is. It's just an aesthetic thing. Doesn't help performance. This whole gaming thing, that doesn't affect keyboard operation or anything. Actually, that's another topic for another day, but here we go. Unboxing. Man. Instructions, like always, but who reads that? Actually, get out of there. All right, and here we go. This is our RGB keyboard, gaming, by BYTECH. So this is our box. Let's toss that. That was pretty loud, that hurt my ears. So right off the bat, this thing feels and looks very cheap. In fact, It doesn't even sit level, but all right. The keyboard, the typing feels cheap. I mean, it feels very cheap. This thing has a lot of flex and give me, but what do you expect for $11? But sometimes $11 could be something good. I've bought stuff real cheap that have actually been very good products. So, all right, I haven't used this. I haven't touched this. I'm not familiar with this company, BYTECH. We'll take a look at it later. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna plug this into our computer and we'll get this thing set up. So let me segue out of this. All right, so keyboard's plugged into the USB port. It's on, it works fine. And as you can see, this is our lovely RGB goodness. Blue, red, green, we got some purple over here. So a little yellow, orange. So just a different variety of colors. Keyboard is very simple. It has this button over here. Get that in there. And this button turns it off, turns it on. Turns it off, turns it on. What else does it do? Absolutely nothing else. That's all you pretty much get with this BYTECH keyboard. I figured it might have something else or some other features or whatever, but in fact, that's just all it does. It just turns on these colors, turns them off. So pretty much simple. The keystrokes on it don't feel too bad. You got a nice, decent sound. Don't sound too horrible. Let's go ahead and open up a program over here. Well, just, where's my, there we go. So let's move this to over here. Let's get on the screen. And let's open this. So we're just going to type something in the hat. Since this, oh, I can't type. Since this is Dr. Seuss week or whatever. So the responsiveness is not bad. I mean, it doesn't really take much input to put it in. I mean, I'm just hitting it. Not too much of a delay. Overall, not too bad, not too shabby, so not too bad. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and open up a game, and we're gonna play, of course, open up everybody's favorite game, Fortnite. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause this because this takes forever to open up sometimes. So give me 1 second. All right, so playing everybody's favorite game that just people love over here is Fortnite. Yes, for some reason in my area, everybody loves Fortnite. Every time I build a computer, that's the question I get asked all the time. Can it play Fortnite? So I got a little lag going on right now just because my GPU's underclocked. So I got to fix that up, but that's a different video for another time. So overall, the responsiveness, I mean, is not too bad. So as soon as we get down to the ground, I'll just go ahead and see how it works as far as competitive gaming, I guess that's what they would call it. I personally, I'm not a Fortnite person. I don't play this game. I say this all the time, and when I do play games, I use my Xbox controller. I just like playing classic like that. So let's see. I mean, overall, the responsiveness of it, I mean, just look at her little dance. Overall, it's actually not too bad. I mean, good input. I don't feel no lag. I mean, minus the lag from my GPU, but we'll fix that later. So far, not too bad. I mean, I'm not a big, huge fan of this RGB puke. I just kind of wish it could change a little bit, I guess, if I was to be big on RGB. So, so far, not too bad. So my thoughts on this keyboard. For $11, is it worth it? Yeah, absolutely. Pretty good, responds very well. You get the RGB goodness that I guess everybody's in love with. And if I was to actually work and build another computer, I would actually sell these with the computer. They got a bunch of them at that store that I got it from, so I might pick up a couple more and just keep them on hand so when I build a computer. So RGB is a selling feature. If that's the takeaway I could get from this, if you could take from this video, RGB tends to be the selling feature of computers and hardware. That customer in particular did not care the fact that he had a pretty good gaming computer for $200 at his disposal. He just wanted something with RGB. So overall, this keyboard responds very well. I like it. Pretty cool. Would I use it as my personal keyboard? I actually would, but I'm a big fan of my Razer. I got that for free, so yeah, I'm a big fan of my Razer. I'm not going to swap it out. One thing I do want to note with this, and let's go ahead and turn this light on real quick, is the size. The size is actually pretty nice. I like the dimensions. Most keyboards are a lot longer. And if we look over here, 17 inches, let's say 5 inches, so 17 by 5. I know my Razer keyboard is a lot bigger on that one. And for my small little desktop setup that I got, the Razer keyboard actually takes up a lot of space. So, I mean, for $11, if you don't like the RGB, turn it off. If you like the RGB, turn it on. Responds, gives you that good feel. I like it, I enjoy it. So that's my thought on it. So comment down below, let me know what you think about this keyboard, other keyboards you might recommend or you might think might be good for the budget. I like this one, not too bad, so I'll probably go pick up a couple of more. So thanks for watching, and we'll see what we'll come up with next.